What's up, YouTube? Got Billy Sean, aka Money Maniacs, and got Kajon, aka Boulouquette, and of course got Raging Cajun. And I gotta get my YouTube side muted, which I hadn't done that yet. So,
I hear both of you guys.
oh well, I got my YouTube side muted.
Me too. Just did.
But got three people in, so I just got I know it's gonna take a while for everybody to get in. I don't know why, because I put the link, the not the link, but the uh, post and everything out. What, about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago?
Yeah. You
But
got some likes from back then because you got says 2 watching now, 5 likes.
Good.
it's always better when you're higher up on that than you are on the watching.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But
and if you guys like them a lot, just keep hitting it. It'll get there.
hey, cool gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I appreciate everybody doing that thumbs up. But now, man, I tell you, this past weekend, that was not fun. Not at all.
Oh, but you had a great time.
Yeah, great time spending at the hotel room watching TV. That was about it.
And on the side of the road. Don't forget that. That's important. And in the ER, that again, 3. So you got a trifecta.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Barney? There's that birthday boy from the weekend. Yeah, Crystal and I, we were away. We were trying to stay away, so we didn't get a chance to see much. Crazy. Hey, William.
What's up, William?
I was not expecting to have to go back to the ER. Expecting to go down to Galveston to see all the stuff, and especially go watch, some of the bands play. And I mean, I had things planned out. Was wanting to take Crystal over, like Friday, because we didn't get down till Thursday night. Hey, David Carlisle.
Dave's not here, man.
Yeah, that's right. Dave's not here. But no, I was planning on taking her over to St. Jacinto, the monument and everything, the battlegrounds. That way she can see all that where Texas won its independence at. Um, Go see a few other things around Houston area. Do all that kind of stuff on Friday. Saturday, plan on getting up, heading into Galveston, and going over to Seawolf Park. That way she can see the Kavala and the Stewart. And by the way, if y'all aren't familiar, the Kavala, the history on that submarine, on its very, very first tour out in the Pacific Ocean. Uh-oh, hang on. I hit the wrong button there for a second. Um, it actually found part of the Japanese fleet. And it sent off, I think, either 6 or 8 torpedoes. And they actually fired at a aircraft carrier.
Mm.
Of all things, the aircraft carrier it sank was a Shakaku. And that's one of the aircraft carriers that led the attack on Pearl Harbor. But it sank one of the, like I said, it sank one of the aircraft carriers that was involved on December 7th, 1941, and it's now a museum ship. So it's sitting down there on Pelican Island right outside of Galveston. Um, yeah, I know. She's already been messaging me. Um, but that and Stewart is I think a destroyer escort. So that's down there. I was planning on taking her to that, like on Friday. There's a fort. It's on Bolivar Peninsula. And this is a fort that was built back in, late 1880s. I mean, we're talking like 1880s, 1890s, something like that. It might have been earlier than that, but it was built for defense of Galveston Island and the port and everything. And I was wanting to take her over to that, but the only way to get to there, you have to take the ferry from Galveston Island over. But sitting out in the ship channel is the remains of I can't think of the name of the ship, but during World War One, when there was a shortage of steel, someone came up with the bright idea: hey, let's start making these ships and everything out of concrete. So they actually there was about 10 of them they built with like 1.5 foot or so thick concrete walls. You know, the hull and everything was all concrete. One of them was actually sitting out there where it sank, and it's still there to this day. Hey, Missy.
Oh,
There's Mahoney, Missy.
Yep. Yeah,
Hi,
Bree.
Missy.
Yeah, I needed a jumper pack, and luckily for me, someone, like I said, the group that we were actually going to go see Saturday night, they were on their way back, and luckily, Crystal and I are friends with them on Facebook and everything. They stopped, and they literally, got the bike restarted. Helped us get it restarted. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, Crystal. Hey,
Hey.
barbecue. What's up?
Hey,
Hey,
barbecue.
we got Barbecue 76 in the house.
What's up, Anthony?
So, no,
Yeah, I was gonna say, we know how Saturday night all went with me going back to the ER.
yeah.
That was not fun.
But again, I told Mater privately, guys, I always try to find something positive out of something negative. And the positive thing of his trifecta was going to the ER because at least the doctor down there, at least for a time or for a season, did actually give him more information on his what's going on with his bacterial stuff more than any other doctor close around him that he's seen for the last say half a year at this point.
About
So, at least that one visit gave him more clarity. So now when he goes and sees another doctor, he can say, look, we got a CT scan. I actually have a path of what's going on. Let's try this path and maybe we'll get to a solution now. So that is a plus in my mind of his vacation. I'm sorry you guys weren't able to do what you wanted to do, but at least we'll get your medical stuff.
Right.
Almost cursed right there. Don't.
Yeah.
Almost made me swear on that one. But yeah, that way you can get to the doctor.
We got more leads and everything, and I'm going to pass this information on to my GI doctor, and that way she can get a whole hospital down there and get a copy of it, the CT scan, because this one even was with contrast and everything. Right. But I was going to say another thing that I wanted to take her on is if anybody's familiar with Rainforest Cafe.
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's one down in Galveston. Okay, but it is a standalone style rainforest. In other words, it's in its own building. Okay, we've got one up here over in Grapevine that's part of the Grapevine Mills Mall.
Yeah,
but this one's so huge. They actually have a river boat ride inside the building.
Oh wow.
Okay, I've actually been on that river boat ride. That was been over 3 years ago. I want to take Crystal on that because I was telling her pricing. Okay, appetizer. Now, mind you, an appetizer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, money. What would you consider, say, mozzarella sticks would be normal appetizer price at a normal restaurant?
$6, $7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with inflation. I'm gonna go $9.95 to $10.95. But that's this year's inflation. Now, before this year, I would have been with Cajun $7, $8. Now, $10 or $11 because
okay. down there, their cheapest appetizer was $15.99.
Yeah, you probably get a plate like that freaking big too.
No,
Yeah, 4 people.
you would. This would have been enough for about 2 people.
Right,
Dang.
Raging. Go to the doc. Yeah, go take another trip down to the doctors down there and let them figure it out. 'Cause
Yeah,
can't.
but the thing about it is, I was telling her the prices, and she was going, no, because
Oh,
some of them were like $32.99.
I used to work at Morton's of Chicago, and Morton's of Chicago. The closest one here is in Vegas, and I only know of 2. I know they're the high ritzy steakhouses. These are the ones
Right.
where Dom Perignon is a cheap bottle to them. Okay, that's just a cheap bottle. That if you're paying $200 for wine, you went on the cheap list in this restaurant. Okay, a normal steak dinner for one person, so steak dinner, or you can get your shrimp pasta, whatever. Anyway, let's go with the 2 people steak dinner for one person for the dinner. We'll say you're going to get the salad. We'll say you're not going to order a bottle of wine. We're not just going to stay away from alcohol. We're just going to go iced tea with this and a dessert. You're looking at about $95 for one person.
Yep. I can understand
And
that.
yeah, because, and I work in this restaurant, and I was one of the cooks in the prep kitchen back up in Minnesota and Minneapolis. And these steaks are brought in. They don't have them in the house until 8 o'clock every morning because it's a dinner restaurant only. So that way they can season them, cure them, and stuff to get ready for
Right.
evening shift. So they are fresh. They get them straight from the butcher every morning. The butcher cuts them at 6 a.m. They're at the door at 8 a.m. It's
oh, I like
it's
my
clockwork.
steaks aged. I
It's
like
clockwork.
them aged.
Well, they are aged, but we get them from the
Oh.
butcher that day, so
Oh,
they can say
okay.
it's a fresh steak because it's
Oh,
not in the
they
house
aging
for
them
that
for the restaurant.
day.
Now. Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, and then you can even order it with, like a whiskey bourbon marinade or something of that nature. However you'd want
Right.
your stuff marinated.
Right.
And this is the type of restaurant. This is the type of restaurant. This is the type of restaurant where they have them, but they
Hey,
have very
Dave.
few of them. They don't have condiments in this restaurant because you just don't use them.
Right.
It's if you order anything over medium well,
Hey, Sarge.
Lord help you, the chef doesn't come out and yell at you. It's that kind of restaurant, and it's one of those that you almost wear a 3-piece suit or a tux to go into this restaurant. It's that kind of restaurant. So, and I told Miss Money that I wanted to take her up there once to Vegas, to that before we move because I used to work in one just to see what she's like. And she looked at me and said, I'll let you spend that money one time through our whole marriage. Other than that, we are not ever doing that again. I'll let you do it once. That is completely it. Because the only thing we have down here in the casinos and the Golden Nugget is something called the Saltgrass Steakhouse, which is another high price. So we have how high price they are. They're not as bad as $95 a plate, but they're pretty much at 40 to 50.
Well, I mean, we got, like I said, Saltgrass Steakhouse up in Dallas. Now, we do have a very nice steakhouse here in Ennis, and like I said, it wasn't on Valentine's Day this year because I wasn't doing a live stream. So I took Crystal the very next day. That for her and I, and like I said, I do it every now and then. One, when I've got the extra money, I don't mind. But second, it was a special dinner just for the 2 of us. Okay.
Right.
But that bill was about $85 for the 2 of us.
Yeah.
But I've kept telling her about the steakhouse and everything, how good it is. She finally realized, and she's admitted that it was damn good.
Yeah, you pay for quality. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah,
you pay for it though. But,
right.
Yeah.
But
Now, see, I was this poor. It was just me and my mama growing up. My daddy left us when I was 3 days old because he basically looked at, from what my mama tells me, God rest her soul, that he came and looked at my window because I was still in the nursery 3 days later because there was complications. He took one look at me, took one look at her, and said, that can't be my kid, and walked out on both of us. Now I don't know my dad, but so, that's part of my past. Just me and her growing up. So I was so poor growing up that I thought Applebee's and Chili's were 5-star restaurants.
Yeah. But
I got to go to a McDonald's once or twice, once maybe every couple of months, and I thought I was a good kid at that point.
But the thing about going down there as far as Rainforest Cafe is that at nighttime I wanted to be able to take her over there because they have the volcano that will erupt.
Oh yeah.
Like every hour or something like that, they have their little light show. I consider it a light show because I mean it's a fire and everything, and music, sounds, and everything. Um, but hey Sarge, this steakhouse here we've got. If you put steak sauce on that steak, someone ought to shoot you because you don't need it. That's how good these steaks are.
That's how Morton's is. That
Right.
you should not need a condiment.
No, and
order something
that's
other. If you need some ketchup, you better go to McDonald's and order some French fries.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
Or go home and make some scrambled eggs and put ketchup on that.
All right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the steakhouse we got here, like I said, if they don't even they do not even have steak sauce on the table. Okay. Now you can get some if you want it, but I guarantee you, if you ask for it and they
look at you funny.
You ought to have your butt shot because you don't need it. You do not need steak sauce with their steaks. They're that good by themselves.
Got a line on that bird for Thanksgiving. That's one thing I don't do for Thanksgiving is I don't do turkey. I'll do turkey, but I do a small turkey. What I do is family's a little weird. We like turkey, but we don't like a lot of it. So I'll get like a little turkey, boneless turkey. I'll get one of those like boneless hams. But what we do is I'll get a prime rib. And I do prime rib.
That's good.
Last year I did roast beef. It turned out fine. It was good. Everybody liked it. But I'm like, you know what? It wasn't the prime rib. And I can go to Walmart and get, a prime rib about this big for us. And it's only like $60. And I'm like, you know what? It's once a year. I either do it for Thanksgiving or do it for Christmas. I do it for one or the other. But
one thing I was going to say is, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, going to the hospital and everything. Because, like I said, going to the ER here, going to the doctor, they were constantly asking me, is it, as far as anything comes out, is it black or red? And I kept telling them, no, it's just plain brown, it's crappy brown.
Right.
But like I said, Saturday, gonna get ready to head down to Galveston, and nope, I'm seeing red. And one thing they always said, if you see red, go to the ER. So that's what we wound up doing. Of course, what took a while is finding where the closest one was. Found out it happened to be in Galveston. Okay, fine. I knew exactly where to go and everything. But like I said, they did that CT scan with contrast. And the doctor there, he actually took time and everything, and it's like, yeah, I can see as far on this CT scan, he actually showed the scan. First time ever that a doctor's ever said, hey, if you want to look, I can show you what the scan shows and everything. But the way he was putting it was that a normal large intestine is basically, it's all smooth wall and everything. He said the way mine is, it's kind of like a corrugated. Okay, so it's got those little, right, so it's going in and out all the way down. And what's happening is stuff is getting into those little creases and stuck in there. And it's basically creating all the things that's going on.
Creating your bacterial buildup.
Right, because that's what's causing the infection and everything.
Yep.
And then this time, because having blood and everything coming out, he goes, basically what happened was you had that infection. He says, let me explain it like this. You know how, back in high school and everything, like when you had a pimple on your face, you'd pop it, you get the white stuff out, then you'd have the blood and everything, and then it all heal up. He said, basically that's what's happened this time. You had the little bit of an infection and everything. It ruptured, and you had the blood and everything come out, and it's healing. It's healed over. And he asked me, I told him that I've already had a colonoscopy. He goes, well, one thing, if you had hemorrhoids, that would have shown up on the colonoscopy. Did they say anything about having hemorrhoids? I go, nope. He said, what about having polyps or anything like that for cancer? I said, nope, that didn't show up on the colonoscopy. He says, well, we can rule that out because if you had hemorrhoids, that would have shown up. If you had cancer, that would have been found on the colonoscopy. I said, nope, they didn't say anything about like that. Nothing.
So my underlying question is then, how do they get to the underlying root of this to make it to where the infections and the bacteria stop building up to stop causing all this pain?
What we got to do, because I was telling him about how anything that comes out, either gas or solid or liquid, when it comes out, it's got that metallic smell to it. He says, okay, on something like that, and the way, basically like what he was putting it, is I'm going to have to give them a sample. So someone is going to have a very nice day playing around with my crap at the hospital. Yeah, so I get a chance to give a whole bunch of crap to somebody, literally. Which I'm going, yeah, that's going to be fun. But anyways, he said, depending upon what bacteria's, what it has got it out of whack, it's going to have that smell. He says, now, I am not an expert. I can't take a whiff and tell you. So it's going to take another expert to basically do the sample, take the sample, analyze it. Then they might be able to figure it out as far as what bacteria is in there that shouldn't be, or find out what's not in there to see about getting it in there.
I'm going with barbecue on this. How do we go from a gourmet $95 plate steakhouse to your crap?
Because I was talking about everything going on that was supposed to be doing down in Galveston, and talking about the Rainforest Cafe and how expensive they were. Hey, sir.
No, so anyway, now I used, once you're a chef, you're always a chef. But I used
Right.
to work as a sous chef, and that's as high up as I wanted to, and that was 7 years, cooking, and I started in the dish room when I was 18, my first job, and working my way up in this steakhouse to a sous chef, and then I ended up working for a buffet for a while in a casino, and I just got burned out on it. So now I just cook at home. That's why I don't cooking. That's why I I'm gonna start my own business. I'm done with everything.
I'm gonna ask the most stupidest question that anybody ever heard of.
Why do Cajuns say Cajun? No, I don't know what.
I'm reading Tarek's comment.
I'm ready to start the joke. Hey, Marge, I'll give you all you want.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be better than an MRE. No, I'm picking. I like MREs. How do you get an ingrown hair?
Yeah, that.
And a gut.
Well, he says similar. Has something similar. Basically, basically something like that.
Oh, okay. So it's not really ingrown hair. This is hypothetical. Okay, yeah.
Well, no,
all right.
He's saying it's basically just like having an ingrown hair.
Right. Yeah.
As what's going on with me, how I get that little pocket where stuff gets stuck in there and causes an infection.
That could be like diver, one of the divers. A little diver blister, a diver blister.
Right.
Those hurt.
Yeah, well, the doctors have already admitted, including my GI doctor, saying I've got diverticulosis.
Diverticulosis.
Right. So I've got that. That has already been determined, that I've got the little pouches, but they're not infected. So basically what's happening is I get them, they're not infected, and all of a sudden, they do. That's what's causing the pain and everything. And then it's kind of like popping a pimple. You pop it, stuff comes out, and it'll heal over. And then that's what's happening. That that polyp or whatever, it gets popped into the colon, and it heals over. And then I'm good after that. But it's got other things that's going on with it that we still haven't got figured out, unfortunately. Right. Hey, Tom.
So I'm gonna show these off real quick. I bought these today because I know at my Walmart if I didn't get them today, I wasn't going to get them. And I love cast iron. Anybody will tell you, but when Christmas shows up, I get all these little cast irons that I can. It's supposed to be some sort of with pancake, made little pancake. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll make pancakes with that design.
So we got that one. And of course, I had to get the Dark Lord.
Darth Vader.
And then we had to get the bounty hunter.
To answer Barbecue's question, yes, it has been anything that comes out. Like I said, if it's either a gas or anything else, anything that comes out, it's been having a metallic smell to it.
Yeah, it actually comes. It's really weird. All right, let me ask you, people that have dealt with cast iron, all you country folks, all you country folks out there that dealing with it right now. Here is how you are supposed to properly prepare your cast iron. All right, to prepare skillet, preheat oven to 350. Wash with soap and scrub brush, and dry the skillet. Looks pretty clean to me already, but all right. Lightly coat all sides with vegetable oil. Duh. Place the skillet in the oven. Let the oil bake into the surface for 2 hours. Remove from oven and let cool. Step 5. For best results, repeat steps 3 and 4 over 7 times.
Yeah. You're seasoning the cast iron.
I understand you're seasoning the cast iron. You shouldn't have to repeat steps more than 2 or 3 times to get a proper coat if you do it right the first time.
Well, sometimes you have to do. Sometimes it's kind of like a blonde washing her hair.
Well, okay? I mean, anybody can buy these, so yeah.
I know, but I'm saying it's kind of like a blonde washing her hair. You look at the bottle, it says wet hair, apply shampoo, rinse and repeat.
You know that, and David, I'm the same way with you. I'll use bacon lard or something, a can, or I'll use Crisco or something to season my cast iron. I don't use that oil.
All right, Billy. Okay, look at what Barbecue 76 is saying. That answers it, and I agree with them on that.
Well, no, and I understand that, but I'm saying, and I know why they have to put that on there, because you get the people that, that, hey, it's cast iron. I can just, you know what they're going to do? They're going to put the batter in the bowl, and they're going to just push it on the stove just the way it is, right out the box, and they're going to cook it. They're going to do that. So I know why they have to do that and put that on the box. I understand it. But you had to put a number of 7 times. You couldn't just said more repeatedly or several times or until your preference or something different. You had to put a number of times. So,
well, it just depends upon who was writing the instructions too.
Probably Google. Probably Google.
Yeah, it could have been a blonde writing the instructions.
I know it wasn't Missy. That's all I know. I know it wasn't Missy.
Now,
Missy, no better.
Right. Now, Ink is saying never cook tomato paste in a cast iron.
You can, but you have to re-season. Not that whole thing. The best thing to do after you do tomato sauces or whatever, like a chili or what have you, if you do that, after you take care of your pot like you normally do, it shouldn't hurt it. Okay, one time. But if you keep on, then what you can do, you can fry some shrimp in that pot. Put a lot of grease in it and fry it. That automatically fill your seasonings back.
I mean, honestly, the main reason I bought them, Mater, is when we do, build a new house and we go to decorate it. you know, we're just going to hang those in the kitchen anyway.
Yep.
You know, we're going to take them out of the box and just hang them up because we got 14 pieces of cast iron anyway. I mean, I think we got 20 pieces of cast
Now,
iron.
I do like what Pete said about Ken Rollins. Yeah, Crystal and I both like watching his videos. As far as
Kent Rollins is, he's got a video that says, you can do tomato base, but he more or less says what I just said.
Right.
He's got too many videos on cast iron stuff, and he forgets what he says from one to the other sometimes.
That's very true, barbecue. Very true.
Right, but think about it. If anytime you watch any of his videos, he's cooking with cast iron.
That's all he cooks with.
Right, because he cooks the way the cowboys did it, and that's exactly what he's doing.
That's me. I'd rather just put my pan right on the fire and just like no.
Yeah, I'll take it back. He's got some porcelain pots for beans. You know those blue speckle ones, the porcelain coated. He's got a few of those. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, basically, the way he cooks is like you're out in the Old West, 1880s, 1870s, and he's a chuck wagon cook. But
I know that.
Right, so that's cast iron. That's what was around that time.
Yeah,
that's what exactly he's using.
Who's it now? Now since we're on the cast iron thing, is Lodge the biggest maker of cast iron right now that we have?
As far as I know, yes.
Lodges.
Now there are other manufacturers out there. Now I'll play this. As far as I know, you can actually go to Harbor Freight and buy them too.
What?
Cast iron.
Harbor Freight. Yeah, you can buy cast iron. Yeah, you can get.
That's a cheaper cast though.
Yeah.
It's probably made in China too.
Well, I know Lodges. Yeah, I know Lodges American made, and they have it at Walmart.
They got a few cast iron companies, and Ken's promoted. But you talking about $80 to $100 for an 8-inch or 10-inch skillet? Yeah, 100 plus.
Yeah, but
that's family heirloom quality. There.
Barbecue. That's what the original 14 piece is. It came from my mother, which got it from I think her mom or something. That we're just passing it in.
We got a lot of cast iron.
And my mother, even though I had a daughter, my mother decided to give it to my wife with the joke of, "Here, I raised him. You're going to need this." And I just went, "Well, thanks, Mom."
Now I'll admit I've got some cast iron cookware in the house that we've got to get out. Now a lot of people say don't use soap on it, but you can use soap on it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to re-season it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's rusty or whatever, you gotta soap it all up and clean it.
Seasoning. All you're doing is maintaining the seasoning. You're not actually taking it away.
Right.
You know, like we cook like our shrimp sauces. That's got tomato sauce in it.
Right.
You know, it's got Rotel or tomato sauce, and that there's nothing wrong with, I can cook a over easy egg in my big old black iron pot that I cook tomato sauces in.
I know,
but it's not pure tomato sauce though,
Yeah,
I know, but what I'm saying is, you can clean, cast iron with soap and water and stuff like that. Yeah, what you're supposed to do is just wipe it down. But if you do it,
hot water and wipe it down.
Right, but I'm saying if you do use soap that's like a degreaser, it's going to clean it, but you're going to have to re-season it afterwards because you have to put the oil back into it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, mine, and this is one thing that I'll talk to you privately more about this, is we are also looking at when we're going to make a little bit of extra room for an extra piece of appliance. You call it appliance if you'd like in the new house. But we're going to get a wood-burning stove in the house. Okay. The way we're going to do the chimney, we're not going to take it through the second floor. We're just going to take it out the side wall.
They have to see what code and everything on that.
I know. That's why I'm saying we'll talk about this more privately. If we can do it, great. If we can't, so be it.
Right.
But it was going to be more for like winter time when it starts getting cooler, it'll heat the house, and then I can also use it for cooking because I know how to cook on a wood burning very easily.
Right.
I can show Miss Money very simply how to start the fire and how to keep it going all night till morning for breakfast. I can show her all this.
Oh,
So I was going to talk to you about that.
Right.
You actually talking about a stove or like a heater that you can cook on?
No,
also?
I'm talking about a full, like, it's going to have the oven, it's going to have the sidewall, it's going to have the burners, it's going to have the warmer.
Bread warmer on top.
Yep.
Warm water tank on the side.
Yep.
A full blown Benjamin Franklin stove.
Your
I had
fume
one.
and all your side vents and everything and all that. So.
Yeah, man, that thing would keep the kitchen and the living room warm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Adam, if you're still out there, I sent you the link coming up. I'm expecting, oh, that's who I didn't send it out to. Oh. No.
I gotta go. But right now, I've got beef roast in the crock pot, and I gotta go check it.
That's
I don't use the chainmail for the cast iron. What Missy seasons her pots every time. She'll clean them out. She'll put the olive oil on a paper towel, and then rub it in, and then heat it up on the stove, and then when it's nice and hot, she turns it off.
Yep. I agree, Anthony. Yeah, you definitely live out there in that no fun state. But hey, if you have something like that, Anthony, they can't get you for having a natural gas heater and stuff like that. You're going to have something that's all natural, something that we've been having for centuries. Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, hang on, barbecue. Surprised
You
you're
got
not
his-
at work.
You got his email?
I've got his email.
Okay.
Let's see. Raging, you're being quiet.
I'm letting all y'all do your talking.
What's up, mon cousin?
I'm sitting at the customer. They open up first thing in the morning. We'll get loaded in the morning, and headed down to Laredo.
Where are you sitting at right now? Chicago again?
No, Summerville, South Carolina.
Ah.
I'm actually in the dock.
Aha.
In the loading bay.
Basically, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs till they open up.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Hey, barbecue. What's the first three characters of your email? Is it barbecue?
Cajun, I sent him an email.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
What's his first three characters?
I can smell it.
You gonna make me look again?
No, never mind.
I got it.
Mayor, you see my video from today?
I didn't even. No, I didn't. What you put out?
You have to go watch it.
All right. Well, he just asked you a question.
What?
Do you ever deliver or pick up to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Where's your paper?
Oh, you went to Harbor Freight, huh? Okay, I'll go watch that.
I didn't go to Harbor Freight.
Oh, okay.
I did a video on Harbor Freight on all the new stuff that's coming in or has come in. Well, most of it anyway. I didn't get all of it.
Right. Well, I know that Harbor Freight, they got a whole bunch of stuff that is coming in because I've been, like I said, Sunday stopped off at the one there in Webster, not far from the hotel. because I didn't have a way of changing the spark plugs in the bike. So I just like $17 for a little socket kit. And anyway, yeah, you walk around the store, and yes, I was walking around the store looking. And Crystal was happy for the fact is that we were on the bike. So in other words, as much as it was packed down, I didn't have room to put anything. I wasn't buy it really. I said, now if we were in the car, that'd be a different story. I heard barbecue.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm looking for, there it is.
But now they got signs up all over in the store. Not only that store, but my two local ones talking about new stuff coming in from different brands, and a lot of it's Bauer. They got a lot of Bauer stuff that's going to be coming in, Hercules, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mater, we should have went live on my channel tonight because we could have had an election discussion. I'm kidding. I honestly don't care. I really don't. I really
Oh, I'm in California. You really don't want to hear it.
yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, there we go. I found my mute button. Now I can turn the volume up. I don't want the feedback for everybody.
No,
Well, I know you. Hey, barbecue. I know you and Anthony would get along because both of y'all are out there in California.
Oh, dang it. That muted everything.
Uh-oh.
All right, Cajun, which one of these is my microphone mute button?
Look, down all the way bottom left. Bottom left of your screen.
And it says mute on it.
Ah, there we go.
you got it.
Yep.
No, I was gonna throw that joke out there sometime tonight. You had to go on election night. You had to go.
No, I didn't go on election night. That's tomorrow night.
Well, technically, it's their voting stops in 4 hours, and then they'll start counting. Blah blah whatever.
It's been election voting thing for, I think, 3 weeks here.
I want to say this about it.
Really
I'm getting sick and tired of getting all of the stupid political crap in my mailbox. I get like 8 a day, and I'm like, I don't even know you people.
Yep.
They're storming. They're like,
They buy your name and address from other companies.
oh, I know. That's fine. They can throw my mailbox. It goes right into the file dumpster.
That round filing cabinet.
Right? Big old filing cabinet outside the dumpster. If I see now me, it'd be a heck of a thing to have if I had the wood burning oven. That'd be a heck of a fire starter. Political parties. Fire the political parties.
Damn. Briggs, I hope you didn't do too much damage to that deer with it. Damn. Got him a 12-point deer.
Right, exactly, Arnie. I mean, I could. I got something over here that I got. No, it was from all the way.
Well, like I said, we don't talk politics here.
Well, no, I was just saying that you had to go on it.
Oh, yeah. But,
you know how you tell when the politician's lying? His lips are moving.
Yeah.
Or her lips, or he, she, they. Got to be politically correct, I guess.
Now,
well, my question, barbecue, and also for Anthony, is like, so what are all the, okay, we're talking about, so what are some of the big issues going on out there that's up for vote out in California?
in California, I don't know.
Right. Well, the one thing they need to do is they need to get rid of CARB.
Yeah, that's not going to happen out here.
Because the thing about it is, like I was talking to Crystal, is California, especially in LA, they've been having smog since the 60s, something like that.
Yeah.
And yet they're coming up with all these things. Okay, well, we got to do this, and all this to get rid of the smog. and here it is 2022. It's still hanging around. So you're telling me then that all this stuff that y'all been saying we need to do ain't got rid of it in 60, 70 years?
Later, that's because your emissions are bad. Theirs are fine.
No, they're saying their emissions are bad. That's why any small engine, you go get a Predator. Okay, here's a good example. You go get a Predator.
I didn't mean to get that topic going.
But you can look on Harbor Freight's website. They have one that's designed for 49 states. They got one that's designed for California.
Yeah.
Right.
And
To be fair,
that one is designed for California only. The other
be-
one is good for the other 49 states.
to be fair, if you ever drove around the LA Valley in the 80s, it looked like it was foggy outside. So the emission stuff did help.
Right. What I'm saying is,
now they've gone overboard with it.
right. Well, what I'm saying is, if it was supposed to, if all that emission stuff was supposed to have gotten rid of all the smog and everything back then how come it's still around? If it didn't work for back in the 80s, you think anything new is going to help now, 40 years later?
No, it did help. Like I said, to be fair, if you were ever driving around LA area in the 80s, it looked like it was foggy outside, and it wasn't fog, it was smog.
Right. Well,
So
to me,
the smog stuff helped, but they've gone overboard with it.
Yeah. Especially from what I understand that they're wanting everybody, they're saying, okay, you're not going to be able to buy a gas-powered outdoor power equipment. Now they're saying, oh, and by the way, if you've got natural gas appliances or anything in your house, you're going to have to get rid of all that when you go electric.
If you already have it, then you kind of already have it. But any new construction is not going to be built with natural gas or any kind of propane gas heating.
Well, from what I understood was that if you got it, you're going to have to convert over. That's the way I heard it, was that if you've got say a natural gas stove, heater, anything that's natural gas. It could be your gas stove for cooking, could be for hot water, could be your heater for the house. Then that's all got to go, and you got to put electric in.
No, what's going to happen is that when your natural gas stove or house heater or whatever goes out, then you have to buy a new electric one.
Okay, and yet they're complaining that, oh, by the way, don't plug in your EVs because the power grid can't handle it, and you're wanting to go basically everything electric, and yet.
Yeah, well, I'm not wanting to. You can blame our idiot politicians for that. So what happened to no politics?
Well, hey, I'm kind of skirting.
Yeah,
right now
all the restaurants in California are pretty pissed off that if their gas stove goes out, they can't replace it because cooking with gas is the same.
Like I said, for me, politics. We're kind of being like a female clothing. We're kind of skirting around it.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Tommy.
Politicians that are doing all this stuff are getting paid through the back door for their decisions. I don't know. Does anybody ever heard of Solyndra?
Heard of what? I didn't hear what you said on your question.
Anyone ever heard of Solyndra, the solar company?
Nope.
Oh. Well, that was a whole government funded, here's millions of dollars that didn't work. So yeah, this like I said, it's all back pocket funded. So
have you guys heard that? I don't know what your guys' Walmarts are doing, but for Black Friday here, at least on Thanksgiving, our Walmarts are shutting down. They're actually going to close.
Right. That's what I've heard here is that all the Walmarts
are going to close. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
you
wonder if
didn't
that's a corporate company-wide thing. I haven't heard anything at all.
I think it
Me
is.
neither.
I think it is a corporate wide thing that they're all going to do it. But yeah, that's what they're doing is for, yeah, because normally ours only shuts down on Christmas Day here. But yeah, they're talking
Yep.
about shutting down for Thanksgiving and Christmas Day.
Oh, I thought you meant shut down permanently.
No, for the day.
Don't do that to me.
I know a lot of the stores will open up after a certain time on Thanksgiving, like after 5
Yeah,
or 6 p.m.
Yeah, I think no. They're not opening until ours isn't opening until 6 a.m. Yeah, ours here is not opening until 6 a.m. Friday morning. If you want to, is someone knock on the door?
But yeah, I mean, I've heard that too. Now, for me, I agree with what Crystal said, but for me, Black Friday, there is one place that my normal spot to be at on Black Friday is down at the Texas Renaissance Festival because that weekend, that's their Celtic Christmas weekend, and that's the only time they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah,
It's their last weekend.
yeah. Now I heard. This is our town, but I also heard in our town because we have 2 WalMarts and a Target, and Target is also following suit. They're going to stay closed on Thanksgiving, and they're going to open at 5 or 6 a.m. for Black Friday. If people want to stand in line outside and get there, in there like they would do at Best Buys or what have you, then that's fine. But they're not going to open the doors until it's 6 a.m. At least that's what I know for sure. Where I live in our area for our WalMarts.
Right. Oh boy, we're gonna have a full house.
But I think most stores they're not doing those Black Friday doorbusters. They're doing like the all month long sales.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart's already got Black Friday, and so does Harbor Freight, and so does Lowe's and Home Depot. They've already got Black Friday deals,
Yeah.
and
Well,
they're doing different ones each week. But
Right.
then they're going to have certain ones just for that day because people still want to stay with tradition and go shopping.
And it's all like they always say. It's always about the Benjamins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why when Halloween decorations go up in Walmart, just 24 hours later in our Walmart, they're playing. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas and the garden area.
Yeah, Walmart over here was all the Christmas stuff was out before Halloween.
Yeah, our Halloween was done. 24 hours later, there's the Christmas trees and all the blow ups, and here it comes.
Well, Chris and I, we went to, I think, I can't remember if it was Home Depot or Lowe's, one of the two, and I was going to be looking for Halloween decorations, and this was, of course, last year. I didn't do it this year because of everything going on with health and everything. But literally walked into one of those two before Halloween. They'd already taken all the Halloween decorations down. They were all gone. I'm going, hold it. Halloween's not even here yet. You've already got it all down. They're putting up more Christmas stuff.
That's right. They're
Hey,
putting
Miguel.
up all the cast iron little skillets that I bought, or the candies, or the box of meats, or sauces, or spices, or what we have, or the clothing little boxes, or little gift thingies, or popcorn tins.
Right. Now, one thing that I've learned is that, it's always, if you want to save money on stuff like that, go there the day of, the evening, or the day after, or whatever. Like, if you want Halloween decorations, stuff like that, get it that day or the day after, because then they're going to be wanting to get rid of it. If they don't, it's like, okay, that's done and over with. Let's get rid of it all.
That's the best time to go Christmas wrapping shopping, tree shopping, ornaments, anything. Day after Christmas, go. Oof.
Oh yeah, the day after the holiday, everything's on clearance.
Put that stuff away.
Yep.
Put that stuff
And
away.
believe it or not, those like those Christmas lights I had hanging up, I actually bought those at Walmart like 2 days afterwards, and I think it was like they were doing like a BOGO on it, like buy one get one.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, why should I pay full? That's the best time to get that kind of stuff because you're going to get it at half or 75% off. Like, why pay full price when you know you can get cheaper afterwards for following year?
Exactly. That's the best thing. That's the best thing to do for next year.
I got an
Buy
advertisement.
one, get one. Oh, dang it.
Got an
I don't want to talk
advertisement.
over people. I'm sorry.
Like I said,
Shut
I got there's advertisement.
Okay.
You need to make a new one. Shut up, barbecue.
Nah.
Hell,
Hey, Sesame Tree.
One
Hey,
one
shit.
year after Christmas, they had at the dollar stores. They had all the Christmas lights on sale. The little boxes of them.
Yep.
And $1 a box. I loaded up.
See, now I'm a holiday nut. I mean, Miss Money, her favorite one is Halloween. My favorite one's Christmas. So you start getting into the fall. I'm spending the money, but I'm spending the money for next year after the holidays.
Right. Right. Well, I know for me, I wound up going into a Walmart several years ago. Actually, it was what 3 years ago? Yeah. Well, yeah, about 3 years ago. And when I wound up, this was all right before I went on my last cruise. Actually, so it had been 4 years ago. I walked into the Walmart. I mean, we're talking like 2 or 3 days right after Halloween, and I found basically everything I needed for decorating the cabin door for my cruise that was in January. And I got all that stuff for dirt cheap. And the one thing I got asked, because I got those little plastic swords and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I got asked, how did you get those things on board? I had them packed away in my suitcase. But because of all that, I think I got, it was either fourth or fifth. I mean, they took, because they went around, judging the doors, cabin doors and everything we're talking 160 pirates. Okay. So every cabin door they went around and to judge it to see if you had it decorated, for those that did decorate. And like I said, I can't remember if I got fourth or fifth. And because, I mean, I had the swords and everything, had the, caution tape and everything up and a few other things. They liked it. Matter of fact, I'm just curious if I could find it on here. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
All right. So while he's doing that, how many of y'all are playing the Powerball for that 1.9 billion?
I am. I'm going to. Yeah. I'm going to for sure. Okay.
Money burger.
Homemade burgers tonight.
Money burger. My favorite burger.
Oh yeah, Money ate some burgers over here already.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, William.
Okay. I got the time area, but I'm not finding the picture I took. I know I posted it on my Facebook page and everything, but it's not there. Let me go to the different album. Ah, there we go. Doo-doo.
Testing. Anybody hear me? Nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It is working.
It's all working. Whether
Yep.
you want it to or not, it's all working.
Well, I was fixing the feedback problem.
Ah.
You on a laptop barbecue?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, look on your top row of keys. About in the middle, you're gonna see minus and positive.
So
Minus and plus. That's your volume control.
No,
So-
I plugged in some headphones.
So
Oh,
Cajun,
okay,
Cajun,
that works.
who's winning tonight? The Saints or the Ravens on the NFL? On
The
Monday night
Saints are
game?
gonna beat the Ravens.
No, I said who's winning right now. It's in the second quarter.
Oh, I don't know. Let me go check.
I thought you was watching it. I got it, it's live, but I can't get the thing score. That's all right. My team won. My team's been whooping butt this year. Normally we are bad, but my team's the Vikings. But normally we're bad. But now the Packers are feeling our stuff.
Packers and the Raiders.
Right. Can't believe the Packers lost to the Lions. I'm like, wow.
All right, be right back. Crystal's hollering for me, so y'all take over. And besides, I gotta go do an imitation of Cajun.
We gotta go lean off the shed.
Well, that's what it was. I said hang it off the patio.
Ravens 7, Saints nothing.
Oh, well, they better come on with it.
Yeah. Saints used to be a second half team.
Well,
but they better not pull that crap this season.
Well, that was what Drew Brees was the second half person, real.
Oh no, when Brees was there, they was all out, all both halves, not just the second half.
Now, are the Philadelphia Eagles the only ones that's undefeated still?
I don't know.
I think so.
I know we're
I'm not keeping up with the
I know we're
NFL
right
too
below.
much.
That's the only game we lost was to the freaking Eagles. Ugh. We'd be undefeated right now, but yeah.
Tommy just jumped in, asked Mater a question, but he's not here.
Yeah, well, the Eagles can do anything they want to, but it's the point where they get to the playoffs and lose it.
Oh no, that's
we'll see
us.
if that happens.
We'll get into the wild card, and then we'll get into the halfway through the playoffs. I mean, we can even get to the NFC Championship, and then we just go plunk. That's what we do. I mean, we're like, yeah, all year long trying to fight to get into the playoffs, and we're like, why? We're just gonna go plunk.
Am I the only NASCAR fan here?
No, let me go get my mother-in-law real quick.
It's been a crazy 3 to 4 weeks for NASCAR.
Yeah, who was that died? Was that Cody or
that died?
Yeah,
oh, no, not even that. Now I have to look that up. It's been crazy for other reasons.
One thing I will say, with all the crap that Chris and I have been going through with AT&T, we told them basically take it and shove it where the sun don't shine, because we're going with Spectrum all the way.
The problem
Internet,
with that,
TV, and phone.
Nader, the problem with that is they did that and they shove it up where your sun don't shine, and now you got all those bacterial issues.
No, I've had the bacterial issue going on before AT&T did what they did.
But you had but you had issues with these guys, so
yeah. So I've got other bacterial issues. So yeah, okay. So basically, you've figured out that my main bacterial issue is because of AT&T.
Right. Get rid of AT&T, then it'll all just clean itself out.
I told AT&T to stick it too, and
That's
I went
right.
with Spectrum.
Gibbs, that's what it was. Gibbs passed away.
Went with Spectrum for the cell phone. I already had it at the house.
Well, I've got T-Mobile for my cell phone, but we are going with Spectrum for internet. Okay, for internet, TV, and landline phone, $160 a month.
What? That's too much.
For all three of them?
160. I can get the They offered me a deal right now. I think it's $60 for all three.
Okay, but how many TVs? That's the next question.
Huh?
How many TVs are hooked up?
One.
I'm going to have 3 TVs hooked up.
Oh, okay.
do you
Yeah.
really need a landline?
Yeah, really,
Her
that's
head mom.
really to be used, yeah. Because that way, all my relatives, if they need to get a hold of me, if they don't have my cell phone, they've got that. But now, unfortunately, because the crap that AT&T has done, we have to get a brand new phone number.
So now they all got to get.
Right, because AT&T, they said, oh, well, that phone line's been turned off since July. I'm going, that's kind of difficult and weird considering the fact we've been having phone calls since then. Yeah. So, unfortunately,
That's funny. This number's turned off. I'm calling you on it.
we can't keep the same phone number. So, we're going to a brand new phone number.
So when do you think you're going to have all the paperwork done for your lawyer? Hopefully by the end of this week.
I've been working on it today.
You've been away from the house, so.
Yeah, and that was 18 different creditors for unsecured loans.
Okay.
And a lot of that has actually been for hospital and all kind of other medical. So right now I'm going through everything else, and then Crystal and I, we got to get together because now it's getting to where utilities and stuff like that. Right. So got to get that all figured out. And because she's the one that's been dealing with all that. So I don't know what those numbers are. So I got to have her help. And then I had to get 2 months of bank statements, which I'll have to go through my phone and get all that. And then I've got to figure out how to get the last 2 years of tax information concerning the fact that I don't have anything in writing. It's all been done electronically.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. They do that now. They don't do that. It's all.
Right. So I've got to figure out how to get all that. And because I was supposed to have the phone call this morning at 10 o'clock, unfortunately, Crystal was here in front of the computer. I ran into the house. My phone's sitting over here. She didn't hear it ringing or buzzing. I got back, checked. Oh, missed the phone call. I called them up. Said, well, have you got the paperwork all filled out, turned in? Not yet. I'm still working on it. Oh, so I got it rescheduled for 9:30 Wednesday morning.
Follow-up question. Kind of has to do with your paperwork. Why don't you turn your freaking ringer up for calls like that?
Well, I keep forgetting about turning it back up. I guess it's called old age, and I don't want to hear it. And I got tired of all the different creditors. No, well, the main thing is I kept getting tired of having the damn creditors kept calling and calling and calling.
Well,
One time I checked, I had 25 different voicemails. And about 5 or 6 of them were the same damn number, constantly calling the same day.
That's crazy.
And finally, I started answering the phone, and they said, well, we were so-and-so from so-and-so. Okay, fine. Let you know that I filed Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and your name will be added to the list to my lawyer. Okay, well, note the account. Thank you. Have a nice day. Click.
Right.
But it's only started because of doing that.
I just thought.
No, it's not because of that. I just didn't want to hear from the damn creditors.
She got proof.
No. Now the CT scan doesn't prove that part. Well, it does show. Hey, yeah, well, the CT scan does prove I'm getting old. Everybody's getting old. Hey.
And unfortunately, we're all going one way.
Right, and that's south. But
I'm
that's the
not
thing.
pushing that for
And
him
the
to
fact
bed.
is that, yeah, I mean, everybody's getting old.
Yeah, everybody gets older every day. That's one thing you cannot deny.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's life and the way it is.
Well,
But
Chef, yeah, you need to do that. I still would like to, if I had the money and everything, if I hadn't had all my medical issues, I would have had a mini bike ready to go for this coming weekend.
well,
Oh, that
But
reminds
that
me.
didn't work.
What's going on with your bike?
That I don't know yet. Um, like I said, we were on our way down. Actually, we had the problem going down, and we got stuck in the traffic, the stop and go traffic, because there was a wreck. And all of a sudden, the bike, it was running real rough. Well, we got up the highway. I mean, I'm doing like 55, 60 in fifth gear, and I'm doing full throttle, and it didn't want to go any faster. So we pulled over and found out, got off the highway. Oh, Whataburger. Hey, yeah, I'm hungry. Okay, we pulled in there and figured figure get something to eat and figure out what's going on with the bike. I pulled up I've got the app and everything here on my phone for the tuner, and the tuner was saying 284 degrees as far as temperature wise. Okay, you think that's not really hot. Well, considering the fact that I contacted the bike shop I normally deal with, because I also found out the headlight was out, and that's an LED headlight with lifetime warranty. Crap, the headlight's out. So of course, then Friday, yeah, I'm over to O'Reilly's to get a new one. But I contacted my bike shop. He said, yeah, it's got a lifetime warranty. I'll get the information to you. That way you can get it sent off, get you another one, get a free replacement. And I told him what was going on. I said, what's the normal operating temperature for a Harley? Normal operating temperature, about 220 to 230. I said, well, mine was showing about 284. He goes, yeah, that was pretty hot. Okay. Now, for a normal gas or diesel engine, telephone, Venture the terminal, may we not help you?
Sorry about that.
Yeah. But anyways, like I said, for a 2012 Renegade, he said, for a normal car, anything that's liquid cooled and everything, normal operating, yeah, about 220. 250, 250, 260, yeah, it's getting warm. Okay. Cajun would know, and anybody's dealt with air cooled engines, especially a small engine, if your normal operating temperature is here and it's up here, 60 degrees, that's a lot. That's why the bike was acting like that. It was basically because getting in that stop and go traffic, having no air flowing over it, and it was just getting so damn hot. And so, anyways, once it cooled off, started up, no problem. We were able to keep going. But there is it's kind of like I guess you call it like a secondary brain and everything for the bike. The only problem is it's sitting right behind the oil cooler. So the engine being hot like that, you got the heat and everything off that engine, that hot oil cooler going into that secondary ECM. So that's kind of getting it baked. So that was not helping. But like I said, once it was all cool, it ran fine. The only problem is at the time coming home Sunday, got stuck in stop and go traffic because of an accident, and the bike overheated. But then got it off to the shoulder. Well, trying to get it restarted, ran the battery down. But once we got, like I said, once I got a jump on it and it was already cooled off, about 2 hours later, it started up no problem at all. Kept going.
So does that mean it's okay?
I've got to do some more checking on it. I mean, I've been
Make sure. Actually, yeah, I overheated a bike like that once
right.
because it was an air cooled bike and the battery died. So I started it up and I just let it sit there and walked away from it to charge the battery, and
Right.
it got hot and I had different issues. But in my case, after the bike cooled down, everything settled down, it did run pretty well again. But I know when I just was letting it sit there, I didn't think about it. It was my own dumb fault. But I didn't
Right.
think about it. I was just letting it sit there and idle to charge up the battery. And the bike shut itself off, didn't want to start, kind of the same thing. Once it
Yep.
cooled off, the bike seemed to run fine again. So hopefully that happens for you also.
Yep. Renegade, the battery went dead because trying to start it and it was still too hot. That's the problem is I was trying to start it and it hadn't cooled off enough yet. But now I have tried doing that with rolling the throttle forward. Now I don't know if it's something in the computer it's not doing that, but one of the error codes and everything, it was showing that rear cylinder running lean. That was an error code that came up, and saying like a misfire on the rear cylinder. But then I'd go clear it and everything. We get on the road and it would never pop up again. But it seems to only be wanting to do it like if we got in that stop and go traffic where we're just having to idle. So I've got some people here. I'm going to be, yeah, that's what we were doing, Renegade, and I was trying to let it cool off. Like I said, trying to get it restarted after about 30 to 45 minutes. It was just sitting there. It didn't want to start, and that just kept doing that. It kept, it died, killed the battery. It's fuel injection, Tommy. Anthony, the only thing I've done on the bike is now it does have a stage 1 air cleaner. Okay, it's basically just where they've taken the backing plate and everything off. That was like that when I got the bike. The only other thing I've done is I put on different slip-ons, which I've got the video out there for that. And that's it. They're more of a free-flowing style. They're more open. There's like, because you can see from one end to the other. It's kind of like putting a set of glass packs on the bike. Yeah, I mean, Renegade, we got it started down there in Houston. Of course, we got home last night. Yeah, it took us a while, but Crystal was more hurting riding the bike than I was. We had stopped a couple times. That way, stretch and everything, get more gas in the bike. Now, there's no baffles. There's baffles in the slip-ons, but normally those are about $400 pair of mufflers. But I got them for like $150, I think, because someone put them on, they didn't like them, and they took them off. And the charging system, the gauge and everything is showing 14 volts. So the stator and everything is showing that. Now what I need to do is I need to get the bike running, bring up the app and everything, and see how everything is. Now, one person was looking at it one time, says that rear injector is not working correctly. I put brand new injectors on there. Now, whether I've got a bad one also, again, I don't know. Or it could be electrical wise. That's something else I got to look into. But the only problem is I need to get the thing on a dyno, but it's $700 to put it on a dyno to get it dyno tuned. And of course, the dealership is down in Waco. But I don't have an extra $700 that I can just fork over right then and there. That's why I've got that the fuel pack 3 on there.
I hate to be Captain Obvious, but when it overheated, do you think maybe you could have held a plug?
that's possible. As far as it could have fouled out both of them, and that's why I stopped at the Harbor Freight Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, whatever time it was, and got the sockets and everything just in order to change out plugs because I did have the other set of plugs still with me in the bike. And the ones that I had in there were the iridium style, which is what the bike came with from the factory. And I had the NGK iridium plugs in there. But what I wound up putting back in there was just regular NGK plugs. Put them back in there. It seemed to be running fine and everything. So, Cajun, you keep that up. I'm going to take you down.
All right. Be right back. Gotta go lean on the shed.
All right. But
I was trying to tease Billy.
what you're trying to do is trying to make Renegade upset because it's talking about food and showing it.
Oh, you're not making me upset. I got some beef roast that is smelling.
I know, but I'm talking about Renegade. Because we're always talking about food, showing it, and this, that, and the other. He goes, dang, you're making me hungry.
And I wasn't even on this screen. I'm on a silver bullion site over here trying to figure out why people are still paying such high prices for premium on stupid silver when no.
Well, speaking of which, let me go look at my other favorite website
That wasn't why I
and
said
see
that.
what they've got on the list.
I'm going to tell you right now. I've looked at websites. I don't care which one you're on. If it's online, eBay, Amazon, JM, Etmix, SD Bullion, Hero Bullion, Stupid Bullion, dumb. Don't buy it right now.
All right, here you go.
He's going on his auction site that he
I know. Don't
keeps
buy
hiding
it.
from us.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to keep hiding it. Okay. 1914 Blue Seal National Currency. And it says Dallas on there. Gee, I wonder.
That's gonna. You're probably looking at a $1 or $2. You're either
It's
looking
a
at
$1.
You're okay. I was gonna say you're either looking at a Washington or Jefferson.
And boy, is this thing been creased. It's got some pieces missing from it.
That's okay. How much they want for it?
Okay, I'm going to ask you this first. What's the value on something like that? And it's got a high.
I have to see it. I can't just. You can't tell me it's got creases and stuff missing without currency is you have to see it or you got to get such a good description of it that I can paint a visible picture.
Well, current bid on it is $80.
It's about right.
Yeah, and that's current bid.
Because your series 1914s, your 1899s, and your 1917s are your most sought after.
But right now you're saying what current value is basically
even on torn corners.
Everybody's stopping back up about a minute because of what did I miss?
Not much.
Never mind.
He's talking
coin. We're talking old currency right now.
Hey,
even on torn.
What
corners.
you should have said is, "Shut up, barbecue."
But on torn corners of the 1914, 1917 series, there is a very high demand for them right now, and the collector value is up. And yes, that is a current accurate bid. If it went above, I would want to buy it at around 75, and I would sell it in that condition for 85.
So basically,
now other dealers would buy it from you for about 60 and sell it for 85.
Right, but if I wanted to bid on it, if I wanted to bid on this,
no,
I'd have to bid $90 plus tax.
Yeah, that's why I don't like that. That's why I don't like that. You want to find websites where you can get the free shipping, you can get no tax. You want to keep that bid price as low as possible when it comes to paying for everything out. So that's one reason I don't like that website that you're on, the auction site. That's another reason I don't like heritage auctions. I don't like great collections, and the reason for that being is because for me selling, oh, I love it. Oh, it's the best website ever. For me buying, they tack on buyer's premiums on things.
Right.
So
And
you
that's
can
the
get
thing
in,
about
you
with
can
this
get a
one.
1921 St. Goddess MS67. They're going to say, you'll never get it for this price. Say $4,000. You'll never get it for that price, guaranteed. But they're going to say, okay, you got it for $4,000. There's a $750 buyer's premium, so your total is $4,750 plus the shipping fee, which now brings it to $4,800. But you only bid $4,000. Now for a seller, because why? I don't have to pay those auction fees. Now,
Right.
now they do charge me 35% for listing it, but the buyer's premium, it's almost like buying a house. The seller, you can get it in the thing where they will take care of the closing costs. Okay,
Ooh.
well, so
Uh-oh.
that's what the buyer is doing, is basically paying for the closing costs with the buyer's premiums on those higher end auctions. So as for a seller on those, yes, great, I'll do it all day long. As a buyer,
Money.
won't go.
Let's see. Oh boy. Guess what I found?
I don't know, Silver.
Yep. And guess what
Don't buy it.
mint? Guess what mint?
Oh, your favorite man.
But it's like this. It's not a Morgan.
No, it's a Queen's Beast. It's your favorite mint. Or it's a Tudor Beast.
No. We're talking American.
Oh.
Spearmint,
Then
double mint.
Then it's got to be. It's got to. Well, you don't get too excited over Eagles.
Peppermint?
You don't get too excited over. So.
How about an
Unless it's a set.
1877 Seated Liberty, Carson City?
Okay, dime, quarter, half, dollar. What are we talking?
$50.
Depending on condition, that's a common year.
It's definitely worn.
It's a common year. Now, if we were going to talk the seated dollar, trade dollar, because that was the last year of the trade dollar, then we would have had a conversation.
All right. Now, I'll play this. It's in a cardboard sleeve that's been stapled. It does say on there 1877 CC, and they're putting I guess a grade on there G. But then
Yeah.
right next to it, 1841 O, and it's saying G to VG.
Okay.
Right now, current bid for both coins, $125.
They're at retail already. They're
See,
at
that's the
retail. They're at retail. That's what you could find those.
That's why I was
In a-
shaking my head
in
because
a coin
I
shop.
couldn't say nothing with a mouthful of Powerade. I was shaking my head. No.
Well, like I said, for me, I can't see what y'all are doing because I'm on that website.
Now, that's why I'm saying, yeah, they're already on high retail.
Okay, 1857 Flying Eagle penny and 1915 D Barber half.
The 57 Flying Eagle penny, even in good condition, is about a $20 to $25 penny. The 15D Barber half with silver is about $7.50 right now. But with the premium, you usually get those for about 15. If it's any more than $40, go away.
Shit, 100.
They're dumb.
Yeah. 1892 Colombian half dollar. Current bid $60.
The Colombian half.
Yeah.
How many you want? I'll go down here and get them for 15 a piece. How many you want?
Yeah, no.
I got a store that's got a bin this big that can't get rid of the dang things at 15 a piece, and he's dang near at melt on these things.
Let's see. Got some American Eagle dollars.
Those premiums are stupid.
Yeah, current bid's $125. Let's see. We're looking at a couple of them are 1993s and another one's
I'm not even gonna buy silver for a while, but starting in January, we're not gonna be buying like the Disney dollars and stuff. But we have a lady on Facebook that just sells graded currency, that sells New Orleans stuff, that sells the baby bonds, that sells and Civil War bonds. I actually have a Civil War bond. I'll show it to you when it gets here. It should be here Wednesday. It's graded just like this one is, but it's 4 Civil War bonds in this. And the reason I got it was because I'm a presidential history buff.
Right.
Because John Tyler, the president John Tyler, his son, R.O. Tyler, these bonds were used by him and signed by John Tyler's son.
Damn.
So.
Yep. So I mean, I guess I'm
going to be going into currency, and I'm going to be doing currency hot and heavy,
Right.
because silver and gold. I'm not playing that emotional headache roller coaster ride, because I can't justify going and paying $24 for an ounce of silver just to turn around and sell it to one of you guys for $26, so I can make $2.
Right.
Now you guys are paying $6 over spot, which is a normal retail in a coin shop. I can't see $6 over for an ounce of stinking silver. I just cannot see it. It should not happen. I shouldn't be paying over $4. I should be paying maybe $1 over and selling it to you, because normally how a coin dealer is supposed to operate, we are going to we are supposed to get it at melt. That's where we're supposed to get it, and we're supposed to sell it for $1.50 to $2 over spot to the general public. That's the way it works. Because when you go into a coin shop and you buy 3 silver rounds, yeah, you might have just spent $70, but they made $6 off of you. That's all they made. But right now, with the inflation crap and everybody paying $4 to $5 more over an ounce, they're making $4 to $5, dollars a piece because of the inflation of everything that's going on. And I'm not going to circle this back to politics, but we know where the inflation came from, and I'm going to leave it there.
Yep.
And the inflation is hitting us in our gas, and our precious metals, and our investing, and our groceries. If you buy it, you're inflated. You can even call it property tax, your income tax, your mortgages, your refinances. You can put it wherever you want. So that's why I'm not playing the precious metal game right now. I'm going to play the collector market game. I'm going to become, when I start this business back up, because it's on hold until January, I was going to actually just be the bullion dealer, the gold and silver, precious metal, the investor. But then I'm looking at it like, no, you know what? I'm going to go into a different market. I'm going to go into being the collector dealer. I'm going to go in and start getting the stuff that people want to collect, like that piece I got coming in. That's presidential history, because it works on, because it's from 1864. So it's got, it cares to the Civil War people. It cares to the presidential people because of who signed it, and it cares to the coin and currency people. So I have more of a market span on a collector item than I do just, well, here's a piece of silver. Who wants it? So I'm going to get into more of the collectible. Now, I'm not going to get into like the silver set and collectibles. Now, if I get them at a melt price or something, then yeah, I'll get some of those. But I'm going to just stick with old currency. I'm not sticking with the $1 silver certs or the $2 that me and Cajun know and love to spend, because they ain't worth a heck of beans. But, even the red seals. But stuff like your $100 bill, or stuff like what you just told me, the 1914 or the 1899, the Black Eagles, or the 1901s or the 1917s, stuff like that, or the 1923 horse blankets, or even the 1928 funny backs. I will get into small currency, but I'm going to get into the gold and yellow seals, which are the gold seals, or I'm going to get into the North African notes, which has the blue and yellow seal. I'm going to get into the Hawaii notes, but I'm not going to get into all the silver certificates. Now, if somebody wants to, sell them to me for face value because they don't want them, then I'll take them all. Red seals at the same price, but pretty much I'm going to be selling them for maybe a quarter over. I might sell them for like $1. If they're in good condition, I might sell them for $1.50. That's really all they're worth, because there's so much out there. See, when people don't normally see this currency, that's what gets them. Like a regular $2 bill, anybody can go down to their bank right now and just How many $2 bills do you want? Start using them, please. They're like the presidential dollar coin. Start using the dang thing. Or like the innovation dollar. How many people here have actually seen all the innovation dollars with all the American chiefs and all the, Thomas Wright and the Wright brothers and Thomas Bell and all? How many have seen all the dollars? How many has had them in their pockets? Probably not many. Why? Because they're not common. So when someone sees something, I get phone calls all the time. Money, how much is this worth? Give it to your kid. It's $1.
Billy.
Yes.
I've
That's
got a
the thing.
question.
And
Why
$2,
are,
right? And I've said
Do what?
now,
Barbecue?
I've got a question. Why are all the $2 bills 1976?
They're not. You got 1976. You've got 1963. You've got 1953. You have, which are the red
Okay,
seals.
why are all of my $2 bills 1976?
Because you have the bicentennials, but they also have the 2003, the 2013, and the last print they did was 2017. And I missed a 1999 in there. Yours are all bicentennial, which is fine. But the only way the bicentennials are even worth a lot of money is if they're really good condition, and they got consecutive serial numbers. Let me show you. Now, this isn't the best example to give you, but like I was showing these earlier, like these Disney dollars that I have right here. The reason I have so many, and that one, is you can see the serial number. They're 64. Oh, go to the back. 60, 61. Then I have 62, 63, and 64. And even these ones are consecutive. These by themselves are worth $15 a piece. But in consecutive sets, these 5 here are now worth about 150. This one here is worth about $100 by itself.
Yep.
So did they release a whole bunch all at once? Because I got a lot of $2 bills from a certain place that was just handing out and change. They were handing out $2 bills.
That's because they were a company or they were a franchise or something that was actually one of the ones that were trying to start circulating $2 bills into the economy. They were actually trying to get people to start using them, but people just sit on them and collect them and hoard them. It's just like the blue silver certificates, the red seal $2 bills. They are slowly starting to be collectible, but unfortunately, they're still $1 and $2 bills.
Yep.
Because there was billions of them made, and not a lot of them went to, how when currency comes in, they got to take currency out to shred it. Well, these were silver certificates. They couldn't do that to that. And the reason they couldn't do it is because until 1963, you could still take a silver certificate and get a silver dollar for it. You could trade it for your silver certificate and for a silver dollar, piece, dollar, Morgan, whatever they gave you was a silver dollar.
Yep.
And
the one with or without the filling.
Right. But the thing about it is, it was the same way with a gold certificate. Because
you could trade it in for the gold.
Yeah. You get $5 worth of gold.
Yep.
Or $20 worth of gold.
Yeah. Just say you had a $20 gold certificate. You could take that down to the bank and you could get a $20 gold coin. Kind of like what Cajun has for his avatar. You could trade it in for one of those. Or if you had a $10 gold certificate, you could, or same
trade
thing.
It for a $10 gold coin, or if you had it, or they had the $5 gold, you get the $5 Indian gold or Liberty gold that they have. But because back then you got to remember, because what he has is a Saint Goddess on his. But what you have to remember is back then silver was next to nothing. They were still making quarters, nickels, dimes, and halves out of silver, 90% because it wasn't worth anything. Gold, even back in the 20s, was only worth 50 to 75 at the time until the Depression. Then it sunk so bad it was ridiculous, and then it bounced back up because of FDR. Right. But because of FDR signing that bill, that's why he got rid of the Gold Act, or made you guys get rid of all your gold unless you were smart and dug a hole and kept it. Because that's what I would have done. Sorry, government tells me I got to give you something. You're going to get come here to my door. You're going to get a, and that's what you're going to get. You better
kind of like what they're trying to do right now on certain.
Right, you better bring some back up. You ain't telling me what I'm giving you.
Yeah,
you could have it. Ammo first.
Right.
But that's the thing. Back then, that was common. It was common to walk into a bank and you had silver certificates or gold certificates because the government was printing them out like they do 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s nowadays. That was what the economy. That's what everything was backed off of, was gold and silver. That's what the U.S. government, the currency was backed by. It was all backed by gold and silver. Now we're not even all
No,
on.
now we're in a fiat promise.
Yeah.
Is what we're in. Let's just
Right.
be simple about it. The money in our pockets isn't worth. It's worth the Disney dollars, because that's my Disney dollars over here is probably worth more than that $5 bill.
Right.
Or that.
It's
or,
just like,
or this
right.
this $10 bill behind my wallet. It's probably worth
Right.
more than that.
Well, it's like, okay,
I was
take
just kind of
like
wondering why all my $2 bills had the same.
It's because there was a big run because of the bicentennial year. They did a big thing with it, with the bicentennial.
And printed millions of
and
them.
printed, and so
Right.
they're $2.
Right.
Oh, I
And
know
the
they're
thing
worth
about-
$2.
right.
I've got a bunch of them just because
Yeah,
they're
it's-
unique. So I've got a bunch of them.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to tell everybody. They're not unique. There's
No.
hundreds of millions of them out there.
Right.
Well,
And the
they're
thing about
unique.
it-
You ever try to spend one?
Oh yeah, I spend them all the time.
And the person behind the
spend-
register looks at you going, I can't accept that. It's fake.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's
actually
$2
spend
bill.
those. I spend $2 bills all the time, and I spend the Eisenhower dollars all the time, and I
Yep.
spend the Kennedy half dollars.
Right. Now,
Because they
barbecue
ain't
now.
worth a Putin.
Right. Now,
You
here's
must
the
be
thing.
talking to older cash register people.
Now, okay. Now, barbecue now.
I
one
try
thing about
I try to
with-
mess with kids too.
All right.
Yeah.
So with the
Oh, and they
$2 bill,
understand it.
okay. Now, with $2 bills, okay. In 1976, it was our bicentennial. So that's why you've got the quarters that were done that one year. But the $2 bill, they brought it back, and they decided, okay, well, they're going to redo the reverse and everything
Right.
for that particular year. And ever since then, the design has remained the same. So everything from 1976 onward, the reverse for a $2 bill is remained the same. Now, prior to all that, the reverse was the Monticello. Okay, and that's when they started. That was the last design change. Was they went to the Monticello. Now, before all that, money, you're going to have to help me, but I don't remember what was on a $2 bill prior.
It was the Monticello. It was in the 53, 63. It was all Monticello.
Okay,
They only
but
changed it in the bicentennial, but I'm going to give you a history lesson real quick, because take a $2 bill from 1976 on. Do you see how they're all signing the Declaration of Independence on
Right.
the back of that $2 bill? It's a big fat lie.
right,
100%
because
false. They could not get all the delegates in one room at one time. The Declaration was actually signed over months of time, because 2 or 3 would show up at a time out of these 35 people and sign their name.
right,
And so
Well, you're
getting
talking
them all
about a time when there were horseback in different places.
Exactly. This is why they
Right.
couldn't get them all together. So whoever came up with that design was a nice thought, and I understand what they did behind it, but it's completely false.
right. Now, here's something else. Is the fact, if you look at there's an actual painting of where they had the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, if you actually take that $2 bill and compare it to that painting, you'll notice that it's not the same. They actually could not fit that entire painting on the plate. So there are actually people that they had to go in there and take out. Not everybody that signed that was in the original painting and everything is on the $2 bill.
No, but what I'm saying, even the original painting, it's false. It
Yeah.
was a great idea, because just to commemorate the signing of it, to say, hey, that everybody was here, but they were not all there at the same time,
Right.
because of what Barbecue said. Yes, back then it was horse and carriage. Most people didn't really do the carriage unless
Right.
their driver drove them. And, from the different colonies, they came up at different times to Pennsylvania to get it done.
Right. And the thing about it is,
Down.
if you look at it, the Declaration of Independence was signed, July 4th, 1776. But the Revolutionary War was not actually over till what, 1779? And then Washington was actually elected president in what, 1780, 1781? So there was time span between time Declaration was actually signed and by the time we were actually a full-fledged country with leadership
Yep.
and everything. Now, the one thing that really gets me is that people say George Washington is the first president of the United States, which is false. Okay?
No.
There were actually 7 people, there were 7 guys that were president of the United States prior to Washington, but they were the ones that were nominated or selected as a leader by the Continental Congress. Okay? So basically, you had the Continental Congress, and they said, okay, well, we're going to make you the leader, so that makes you the president. Okay, that's fine. But they were only elected and appointed by the Continental Congress.
That's
So,
because you got to remember. You have to remember back then, women weren't allowed to vote.
right,
Okay, we're just going to get real with it for a minute. So for the next 5 minutes, if you don't like it, mute me. Or for people in chat, black people couldn't vote, women couldn't vote, children were not voting. I don't care if you're 18 or not. You weren't voting. A normal man, most of us would not be voting. Why? You had to be a landowner. You had to have been a plantation owner. You had to have been some sort of standing in town. So out of the millions of people that were there, only a few thousand could actually vote in the
right,
colonies for the first founding fathers of the first, 3 or 4 presidentials until they started making laws to where, okay, well, white men can start voting whether they live just in town or not. And, okay, well, 18 or over men are old enough if they can go die for them, they should have a say, blah, and that's where our law started falling. And, well, here we are today, early 1900s, women's rights showed up. Women can
yep,
vote now. It's just been a process. So it's one of those things where back then
right,
hardly nobody could vote.
right. But the thing
You
about
had
it
to
is,
just because
right,
they mainly the reason for that being, and I'm just going to keep it real for another minute. We were too stupid to know what that person stood for because, well, we know this person. We deal with this person on a daily basis, in and outs of business and blah blah blah. This person over here working in my factory doesn't know what goes on in my office with this person. So how are they going to know who to vote for and how to vote? That was their understanding with it. That's why they weren't allowed to.
right. But the thing about it is that, now Washington, like I said, he didn't become president until the 1880s, which is well after, I don't know exactly, I don't remember what year it was, but he became president of the United States later. But he was the first elected president by the people of the United States, and that was only after the Revolutionary War was totally over with, and England basically, said, "Okay, fine, you win. We're done. We're going to wash our hands of you." But the Revolutionary War was not over in 1776. It lasted until 1881, something like that.
Yeah, and so it's that's what got me into owning this business. A lot of these guys know is the presidential history and the founding fathers because I'm so fascinated in it.
Yeah,
And that's just one side of me. The other side of me is a big Christian um, belief, so that's the other side of me. But as far as the currency and the collectibles and everything goes, so I know a lot about founding fathers and presidential history, um, and I don't care who's the president today. My president will always be. I don't care for Zachary Taylor, worst president in history. I've got my reasons. The one that ties with him is Andrew Jackson as worst president. If somebody wants to know my reasons, I'll put it out there. Sometime. Somebody wants to know why. But it's just what they stood for and what they were, and it's just not how I think that our government should be. Because you look at the White House, you look at it, it's a symbolism of our country. It shouldn't be deteriorated and demoralized the way they
Right.
did it. And
Now,
that's
for
my
me, right now, for me, you know, to me, I think the best that's ever been out there, like I said, for my opinion, okay, we know how opinions are. They're like these, and everybody's got them, and some of them stink. But to me, I would have to say FDR. For the simple fact is that he tried, and he did so much to get the U.S. back on track after, for the depression and everything. I mean, we got our, you know, people start working again. I mean, he actually
because
created,
Hoover wasn't doing a flipping thing.
right. But I'm just saying this fact is that he created jobs for Americans. Basically, he said, let's get people back to work. Yes, I know that was a time for around World War II and everything, but we actually, if you look at everything that he did before and during World War II, before he passed away, he basically brought everything back to what it should have been.
And it is argumentative that World War II is what got our economy back up and running the way it did because of them needing the tanks and all the military weapons and getting the factories and getting all these guys back into work to start making everything. It's argumentative.
War is
Right.
good business.
Right, but the thing about it is,
yes.
right, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I'll agree on that.
I hate to say it that way, but that's kind of
It's true. It's
right.
It sums it up.
Right. But the thing about it is, on something like that, it's the fact that he kept putting off and putting off us getting into it and everything. But now, one thing he was doing, he came up with the Lend-Lease agreement, okay? It was basically a way to get companies, like the military aircraft and equipment and stuff like that, to be able to manufacture the stuff and say, okay, well, we're going to put all these, start building all these planes, tanks, get all this ammunition, all this stuff, but it's not for us. We're going to sell it to the British. And that's how we were making money at that time. Is basically, we're making all this stuff, but we're sending it over there. But he came up with the Lend-Lease agreement saying, okay, fine. Well, it's not for us, but hey, we got people outside the country that need it. Okay, fine. We can make money doing that.
Exactly.
It was like putting money in the pockets of companies here and putting people to work.
Yeah, but the problem is now that we are more than a half a century later on down, now all the companies have gone overseas
and we have no manufacturing base, and World War II brought us into the industrial world.
Because if you go before the Depression, even before 1900, Rockefeller, Carnegie, with the railroads and the fuel, and our steel and our when our industry showed up, I mean, we showed up heavy and hard.
Yep.
After the 60s, 1870s to about 1900, best years to live in because railroads were going up. The fuel was going up. Your coal lanterns and everything was good. Men were able to still go to work, provide a living, and still had money in their pockets or in their jars at home, after the end of the day, after it was said and done. But those 40 years to me were the best 40 years because production was an all-time high. We didn't have all this rigmarole about all of our jobs going overseas. We were the jobs. People were coming to us.
Yep.
We had more jobs than we had workers. That's when they started putting children to work, and we know, well, that was a bad idea. But, they put kids to work because they're like, we got to do something.
Right.
I'm not defending child labor. I'm totally against it. I think it was wrong. But, they could have done that a little differently, but I wasn't back then to make any policies or rules.
Right.
So.
Right. But think about with child labor and everything, that's what it was back then. Okay. But things have changed. Okay. You're talking about that. Okay. Prior to all that, back in the 1860s, okay, yeah, we had the Civil War and everything. And they were, they say, okay, well, we got to do away with slavery. Okay. Slavery was, if you actually look at the timeline for everything, the Industrial Revolution started, what, 5, 6 years after that?
That started about a good Carnegie and
I know,
Rockefeller really thrived about them, but during about 5 or 6 years, it started really slowly. The wheels were cranking. By about
right.
9 to 10 years, they were spinning,
Right.
and
Well, right.
industrial plants and everything were popping up like daisies because
Right.
they needed the
Right.
workers.
Right. And that's the thing is, well, I'm just saying, the fact is that you had the Industrial Revolution,
Yep.
or, you know what I'm trying to say.
And steel was the big one.
Right.
You either had
I know.
you had the fuel, but steel was the big one for
Right.
industrial.
But what I'm saying is,
BRB.
the machines were getting made where they could actually do the work of people out in the field for harvesting crops.
Right.
I mean, you had the cotton gin that came about. Okay. Everything that, so basically, if you actually think about it, everything that was done by manual labor within 10 to 15 years after the Civil War was all done mechanically by machine. So basically, someone out there in the field, say the easiest thing, cotton picker. You don't see anybody doing that now because you've got all these green and yellow machines out there doing all that.
Exactly. You
And
got the farmer up on the tractor just driving up and down the line.
And you got one person out there planting, harvesting everything by themselves. Where before,
and it's usually the owner of the land, or he's working for the owner.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, now you've got one person doing the job of what, 100?
Yep.
It takes one person. But that's the thing. Slavery was on its way out.
Which is a good
because
thing.
technology was coming about. It would have done it if we didn't have the Civil War. Slavery was going to die out.
And that's what the founding fathers, and that's why no one really took care of it, is because the founding fathers, they've said this in many different times in different documents and stuff. We just thought it was going to end with time anyway. We just thought it was just going to, after a generation, it was just going to fall away, as they worded it. And I was like, obviously it didn't. Because your sons and daughters grew up owning slaves like you did, so you just passed it to them, and it just kept the problem going.
Right. But the thing about it is, back then, that was that was everyday thing. It's kind of like, having a slave back in the 1800s. It's kind of like having a cell phone. It was something that was common.
It was, and and that's one thing I left out earlier, that you could have to vote. You plantation owner, homeowner, or slave owner. But I left the slave owner out but since we were already on that subject, we'll bring it in now.
Right, and if you want to be technical, the Bible talks about people being in slavery.
Well, and I don't know why slavery is such a hard topic to talk about for me, because as you said it, I can go back to slavery from Isaac and Jacob and Abraham.
Yeah. And it's, everybody.
People want proof.
Right. But you talk about slavery, they think of it here in the United States.
Egyptians had slavery. Moses had to free the slaves in Egypt.
Yep.
Russia had slaves. China. Did you actually know, as of today, right now, you can Google this. I'm not even joking with anybody here listening to me. Japan still has slaves. Korea still has slaves.
Yep.
100% true. Not even joking on this matter right now. There are still slaves today.
Okay, now here's something else. Okay, if you listen, but now here's the thing. Over in the Mediterranean area, in Morocco, okay, the motto or the song and everything for the U.S. Marines, okay, if they're talking about from the halls of Montezuma to Tripoli and everything. Only reason they went over there to Tripoli and everything is because U.S. ships that were going over there for trade and everything were getting captured, and the sailors were getting taken and sold into slavery. Okay, so white American sailors were getting sold into slavery over in the Mediterranean area.
Yep.
That stopped because we actually had the Marines go over there and capture them and take over.
Well, it is almost time for you to shut down, sir.
Yeah, I know. It's actually time.
I will
But,
just
yeah,
throw
but
this
that-
out there to whoever's watching. Does anybody have a barbecue question?
Is pellet grills better than regular smoker grills?
No.
Okay.
Is the natural wood burning better than propane?
No.
All day long. I will disagree with him all day on this one. Yes. Because I would rather have my stuff on a wood burning or back in
Yeah.
the truck wagon.
Me too. Me too.
So that's one I will disagree with barbecue on.
Wood coal.
Everything else is right. Yeah, I will definitely do a wood.
All right,
Wood
so
coal.
I'll go over here and get me a bag
I'll
of.
elaborate it. It
I'll get
depends
some
on what
barbecue
you're doing.
again.
So no, the answer to all of your questions is no. Every single is this one better than that one? No. But what about this one? No. What about this one? No. Depends on what you're doing.
Right.
Right.
Well, you make a point there.
Yep. It depends. It depends upon what the application and
Do I
everything.
really want to start up the stick burner so I can cook a hot dog? No.
No. Nope.
So can you
Say-
do that on the propane grill?
No, Tommy, they don't. I can attest to that.
Yep.
So
Does anybody
say like a
listen?
rack of ribs. Would a pellet grill be better for that, or a smoker?
A pellet grill is a smoker.
Well, there's two different forms.
You
There's regular logwood, or you can
you're talking
control
about
the
like an
temperature.
offset stick burner.
Yeah, basically.
So you're talking about smoking them, or
I will say that the stick burners, if you like the smoke flavor, and a lot of people don't, but if you like the heavy smoke flavor, then your offset will give you more smoke than pellet grill.
William wants to know what's the best barbecue grill to get. Yes, I don't know.
Depends upon what you're gonna cook.
Right.
No,
Right,
yes
I
is the right answer. What's the barbecue to get? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pick one. Yes.
That I'll agree on. I mean, but like barbecue was saying, it depends upon, like he was saying, are you going to want to fire it up to cook a hot dog on? No, that's where propane is going to be best for. And I'm not talking about cooking hot dogs like I did.
I don't know. I'd rather put my hot dog on a stick and just put it in the fire.
And that's good too.
I love
But
that.
I mean, it just depends upon. I mean, now,
Now, are
if
you
you're
going to light a
want-
big fire for one hot dog?
Well, yeah, because I won't be sitting outside anyway.
Oh, well. Well, if you're already out there with a fire, then you already have a reason. Are you going to, not wanting a fire, light that fire to cook that hot dog?
Honestly, a lot of people don't know how I am, so I'm the guy that probably would, just because I read my Bibles and stuff. I would probably just do it like, hey,
So you would light the fire to cook that hot dog and then sit next to the fire.
and sit next to the fire, read my Bible for an hour or two. Yeah, that'd be
So
me.
you didn't light that fire for the hot dog. So are
No,
you gonna
I
light
actually
up the
did.
stick?
I actually did light it for the hot dog, but then I just chose to sit there with my laptop.
So yeah, you see what I'm going with that though. You're not
I know.
lighting up. You're not lighting up your giant offset for a hot dog.
Well, I don't have one anyway. I'm in a stinking apartment. I can't get anything up here. I wish.
All right, well, hey, if anybody
Well, that was
got
my
another
2 cents.
Yeah.
I had a lot of other 2 cents, but it was political and religious, and I was trying to just bite
Well,
my tongue.
he will let me talk a lot of religion on here, but political, and unless we're talking like what we just were, like founding fathers, is fine. But when we start talking current events, it's
No, because
Yeah, that's why I was just sitting back biting my tongue.
I was sitting there closing my eyes.
I see what's going on in the country. Nope, I'm gonna bite my goddamn tongue.
just watch the language on that. That's all I ask.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna bite my I didn't say that.
Want to bite my tongue?
I
Hey,
did.
who's got-
I
Hey,
did my tongue.
Okay, who's got the duct tape for barbecue? We need
Who's
some
got
duct
the
tape.
what? Yeah.
We need some
Sorry.
duct tape for barbecue's mouth.
Hey, now,
Right.
now's
Well,
the
that's
time
why I
you can
was
say.
sitting back. You thought
Now-
that was colorful. That's why I didn't jump in when it got all
Now's
other
the
stuff.
time where you could say, Mater, shut up, monkey.
But anyway, yeah,
See,
I'm
you
already
need
happy.
you need a new tag. Get barbecue. Shut up.
What's the
All right.
what's the best
Anyway.
flavor wood for ribs?
You know what? I like on ribs. I like heavy smoke, and I know everybody's gonna say no, but I like hickory and
I was actually going to agree with that. I prefer hickory.
Which one? I didn't hear.
Hickory.
Oh, hickory. Oh, okay.
Hickory,
That,
hickory.
applewood is good. Hickory, pecan.
I mean, basically, they're all good. It just depends on your preference.
Right. That's the answer there. Yes.
Yes.
well
It depends-
for
just
ribs.
depends
Ribs. I like the heavy smoke on ribs, but like say shrimp or fish or poultry, seafood, I like the lighter smoke, and that's where you get your like your fruit woods, apple wood, pecan, stuff like that. I like that better for I don't want my fish to taste like an ashtray. And hickory is a really heavy, thick smoke. So if I'm doing fish, I would rather use something light like apple or pecan, and then I still get that smoke flavor, and can smoke the fish, and
Now,
not just have it taste like a fire.
Now barbecue. My only question on something like that, when say you're smoking fish or shrimp or something like that, what kind of rolling papers do you use?
Very large ones.
Oh, Cheech and Chong.
You should see when I do the turkeys.
Oh, that's a really big. That's Cheech and Chong supersized.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, now I've got some mulberry around here. I could very easily cut that up.
Yeah, he's got lots of mulberry.
I got two of them trees, and one of them needs to go bye bye.
That's what she
And
said.
We're going to take care of
Like
it.
this. When I say huge, the trunk of the big one is probably about 4 foot, at least 4 foot in diameter.
I had a mulberry tree at a place that I didn't have one, but at my grandparents' house they had a mulberry tree. It was the fruitless one.
Oh, this has got
Oh, yeah.
fruit.
Arizona's full of them.
Well, the one I've got's got fruit on it.
Well, that's why I said thankfully. I've seen the ones that drop the fruit. They're messy.
Yeah,
But
They are.
they had the fruitless one and the mulberry tree, and I would trim that back. It would grow. Let's see, probably about 20, 30 feet up in every which way around. Every
Oh, yeah.
every way it would grow that much in less than a season. It had to
Yeah.
it had to be pruned twice a year.
Yep.
That
We
tree
got-
was out of control.
A lot of mulberry trees over here. They small because they get cut back. You know, one got cut back a few years back, and I tell you what, that sucker, man, I can get 20 gallons of mulberries off of it.
Yep.
At
All
a
right. Well,
time.
I do need to get this shut down because I know that I've got enough time for one more stream before everything starts all over. So I'm just trying to-
Before you shut it down, it's
Yeah.
a funny thing. We took a trimming from that mulberry, the fruitless mulberry, and planted it because we wanted the shade tree. And somehow from that trimming, it started dropping fruit.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And I found out some arborist told me why, and I forget, so I can't explain it now. But
It took one of the when they crossbred that mulberry, not to make fruit, but for quick shade and landscape purposes. Okay, and Arizona, around Tucson, they tell you please do not plant any more of these. We have enough. Okay.
No, we took the trimming from the mulberry, the fruitless mulberry.
Right. Yeah. And it took after one of the parents of that tree.
Yeah, that's what the arborist was saying. It took after.
Right.
And we're going,
Yeah.
what? And that tree came down quick because it was a mess. It was right over the patio.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Yep.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. So,
All right, mining. Yeah.
Not
Yep.
everyone.
Night, Cajun.
Yeah.
Night,
All
Raging.
right, everybody. As always, love, peace, and crackling grease. Catch y'all later. Pluto.
Barbecue something.
all right. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that's been here. Yeah, like I said, I got to shut it down because I have been coming up close to my time limit for the month, and I've got just enough time to do one more live stream without going over. So all I can say is I appreciate everybody that's been up on panel and chat and everything tonight. As always, you never know what we're going to talk about. We've talked about quite a bit.
We started off on steakhouses that were $95 a plate, all the way to founding fathers, and in between, we just
We all
and we covered, you know.
Oh, we covered all this here too.
Yeah, we covered his poop. I mean,
yeah, it's metallic smelling.
Yeah. Hey, Hector, good. Glad you're here. We're fixing it.
Hi, Hector. Bye, Hector.
All right, and once again, thanks for letting me jump in on your show.
No problem. I'm surprised you actually were able to make it because I know you had that work schedule.
Yeah, well, my things are changing, so I'm hoping to maybe make some more if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. But like I said, I do need to get this shut down because, like I said, I got to keep an eye on how much time and everything.
Well, I don't have a good sign off saying, so good night, everybody.
All right. All I can say is I catch y'all Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Central. So same Mater time, same Mater channel, and y'all stay safe and God bless.